I'm Steve Black. I'm an American. I've lived in Singapore since 2002. I lived in Tiong, Bahru for 3 years. I eat here very often, and that's it. So all of the hawker centers in Singapore, of all the hawker centers, this is the first one. We're in the market, and the market is very well known in Singapore for having good food. It has a reputation for being, I think, some of the most genuine food in Singapore, mainly because a lot of the people that are here have been here for many years, and in some cases they're second or even third generation cooks. I think one of the things to know about the market is there really is a variety of Chinese food. There are people here that are Hokkien, Teochew, Hakka, Hainanese. So in one space, you've got a variety of Chinese areas represented, as well as Indian food and Malay food. Well, chicken rice is what Tiong Bahru is probably most famous for, or roast pork. It's sometimes just a snack, ice kacang. There's a lot of desserts here as well. There's two very good dessert stands, so sometimes it's just nice to have something cold. In Singapore, there are a lot of iced desserts, which are nice. I don't think there's any stall in here that's bad, and most of the time you'll see long lines in front of a lot of them because they've been here for a long time and they have customers that are second and third generation. The history of the Tiong Bahru market parallels the history of Singapore. Why? Because it was set up by the British, invaded by the Japanese, experienced pre-independence activities and post-independence activities, of course. Tiong Bahru is a collection of buildings and the market is in the middle of them. When the British designed the area, they really underestimated the demand for food. So the two markets that were in the buildings were completely overrun. So hawkers started to come and bring cooked and uncooked food to supply the people that were living here. The problem was that the government didn't like it. So the people that lived here were happy because they didn't have to go to Chinatown and come back. The hawkers were happy because they had a business, but the government kept confiscating their stuff. The hawkers started to petition the government. Finally, after many years, 1955, the government allowed them to have a space and built a small building, very ramshackle building, and that became the first Tiong Bahru market. The market it's surrounded by a collection of buildings which are a very unique architectural style. So if you come to the market, you also see this Art Deco community surrounding it, which is unique, and that's an overused word, but it really is a unique community of buildings and people surrounding the market. The place is still full of stories. It's changing, it's becoming gentrified, but there's still a lot of people here that have had interesting lives and they've lived through history. There's a few people here that have survived World War II, actually. If you like the food, you'll get to know the person who makes it somehow. Yes, I've met some very interesting people here. People that were born in the houses surrounding the market. People who've been cooking since they were children. There's a man who runs a bakery shop, and he started cooking when he was 13 years old, and he was trained by the British. Up until last year, there was a woman that was a child bride who moved into Tiong Bahru, I think when she was 15 or 16 years old, when the area surrounding here was deserted. I wrote a book called I Ate Tiong Bahru. Simply, it's a collection of stories that's a portrait of what I think Tiong Bahru is. There's no one particular theme except for Tiong Bahru itself. It can be considered a guide, but it's not really a guidebook. It can be considered a book about food, but it's not only about food. And it does have a lot of elements of history, but it's not really a history book.
Hey! Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you wouldn't miss any new videos about Singapore. And visit our website SingaporenBeyond.com for more pictures, articles, and great content about Singapore.